do we have?
We have over 16,000 voters.
Okay. How many showed up last election?
Over 12,000.
12,000. So the reason I'm mentioning this here, it gives you some idea of how busy that gets. We will have extra police on duty this year to try and help with traffic. The polls are open all day from
7 in the morning until 8 o'clock in the evening.
7 till 8 in the evening, and the polls will be declared closed by the moderator at the time that the last person is in line, and you'll designate that, right?
I believe so, yes.
It's going to be when the last person that is in line at 8 o'clock has voted, and if there's a backup in the parking lot, we'll also let the last person that's trying to get into the building vote.
So we'll try and recognize you out there, even if you get there late, but the polls will close at 8 o'clock, and we'll try to find out who that last person is at that time, and we won't be accepting anybody after that.
Right,
It's
if
the
you
law.
show up at 8:10, and we have an officer at the end of the line, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Meg, are you going to talk about, or Cindy, are you going to come up and talk about the fact that you're relocating the candidates area?
I can.
I saw that in an email today. I thought that was important for people to know now before any kind of confusion on that.
Is there any more
that
questions
morning.
for Meg? Is there,
I don't have any
is
more.
she all set?
Real quick for Meg.
Yes, please.
Thank you. The address, if anyone that you just talked to is watching this here, I did do an investigation, and I want to thank Meg for calling me. There was a print oversight from the printer on the Republican State Committee cards. So if somebody got them in the mail, if they changed the 558 to, I think it's a 6,
258 to 2, it should be 268.
right, just change the address on the card, because I got one in the mail right after we talked today, and the address was wrong where to mail the cards in. So hopefully we're getting that corrected.
I just, I'm trying, I know people need to do absentee ballots, and it's very important that they have the right addresses. So that's why I try to put it, it's on the cable, it's in the newspaper, it's been up on the web for quite a while, so just trying to do as much as we can.
Before you leave,
Yes.
absentee ballots aren't for the people to stay home instead of coming to the polls. There's specific
correct.
reasons that are allowed for an absentee ballot. Meg, if you want to just touch on that, just,
Yep. Well, if you're handicapped or disabled, there is provisions for that. If your work does not allow you to come within the 13 hours that we're open, it allows you also for that. If you're traveling for the same reasons. So if you can't physically be at the polls between 7 in the morning and 8 o'clock at night, that is what an absentee ballot is for.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's different. The law has changed in the last couple of years. Before, you could not get an absentee ballot because of working out of town.
Right.
You were supposed to make an effort to be home by the end of the polls. But now if you're out of town and are concerned about getting tied up in traffic, you are allowed to get an absentee ballot in advance.
Okay. Thank
Marty,
you.
just one other thing I just
Yes.
want to touch with you, because it is important people realize absentee ballots, any ballot that comes in absentee can be challenged. When we go through those ballots, we announce the names. If somebody's standing there and I say Paul DeMarco, and Paul's sitting there, they can challenge his ballot, and he actually would not have, his vote would not count for this particular election. So it is very important that those state laws are followed.
Signatures.
And the signatures, oh my goodness. It is very important that people sign the affidavit envelope that's inside that. We did have a few people who did not sign the last election, and I believe the state actually notifies them, because I have to go back into the system and correct why they were rejected. But it is important that they make sure that they sign the affidavit envelopes. And I did have somebody question that today, saying, well, I don't really want to sign it. I said, well, you have to, because you're signing why you're not at the election. And that signature with the signature on your absentee ballot request is what gets matched.
All right.
Yes. Cindy, just for the record, identify yourself. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Paul had a question.
Oh, it was for Cindy.
Oh.
So that's what's going to happen at exactly 8 o'clock? You're going to put a police officer or some designee at the end of the line saying, this is the
No.
last person who could vote, or?
You want me, all right, Cindy Rice Conley, 373 Winding Pond Road. What we will do is declare the polls closed when the last person in line. If we have people in line at 8 o'clock, the polls will be closed. However, the voting does not stop. All those people in line will have an opportunity to vote.
So how are you
But
going to
you're going to put an
designate?
official at the
We
back of the
will
line.
put an officer at the end of that line.
My question.
Right.
So you will have somebody who says, all right, it's 8 o'clock, you declare it closed, okay, this person out in the parking lot, they may not vote for another 45 minutes, but they're the last person.
Right. And if there's a traffic jam or something in the parking lot and people are attempting to park and the officer in the parking lot feels that there is a legitimate reason that they could not get in, we will allow those people to get in. All right? So we'll make every effort for people to get in line by 8 o'clock. All right?
Would you like to give us any information about any changes that are going to take
Yes.
place?
After speaking with the Londonderry Police Homeland Security Officer, the police officer that was on duty, the school district employees, Meg, fire department, they have decided that for security reasons that the electioneers, is Al still here? You want to go take a walk? That the electioneers are going to be moved up to the corner of Mammoth Road,
One side or the other, or both sides, or?
one side, up to, like across from from the library.
So
They
the,
won't be in front of the building in the cages anymore.
No,
There won't be any gauntlets.
exactly.
Okay. All right.
And that's,
So everybody's at the corner of Mammoth and where you turn into the high school.
right. And they can be from Mammoth Road to the road going into that road that actually comes out of
front of the high school?
in front of the high school.
In front of the cable.
And that's,
People, you're not having them on Mammoth Road, you're having them in front of the cable studio.
no, the
correct?
other side of the road,
Okay.
The north side.
right,
It'd be directly across from the library, of that
Correct.
side.
correct.
You have a question, Al?
I have a question there, basically on, wouldn't you, I mean, I understand the security and everything else, but we're all residents here in Londonderry. Wouldn't you be more worried, people coming in versus your candidates on security? Another thing, isn't that taking away freedom of speech by putting them way out on the street on a campaign day? You know, you're Democrats
you're
and Republicans?
You're still getting, you're getting the same amount of people that are driving in.
So do you want them there just to stand and wave and not talk to people and not have any type of one-on-one connection? I mean, I'm just wondering here what's going on here in our town. Something's not right, and I'm gonna ask and see if maybe that state lawyer challenged this here.
Okay.
That's why I mean, something's not right here. Freedom of speech on Democrats and Republicans are being taken away here in the town by putting them out on the street.
This is a decision that's being made by the moderator, and if it's being challenged, it can be challenged, but this is not what this is about tonight. This is to inform what is going on. So if somebody has issues with that, I suggest you take care of it prior to that day so we can get it resolved.
And this decision was made with discussion from the Londonderry Police and their Homeland Security Officer. And that's the decision I've come up with.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Any other questions?
Thank you. It'll be a busy day, ladies.
So, well,
For you, all of us, too.
and, yes,
Alert
For all of
helping
us.
with,
yes,
correct? Okay, great.
with parking. And
But you can't count that as being
No,
there.
I have to be inside.
one more thing, I can't stress enough, like Meg said, if you can all pre-register to vote before November 4th, or actually before October 25th, it will save yourself so much time. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Anything else for public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Okay,